fantasy, caught in a landslide, no escape from reality.
Hey guys, what's up? Underground Geek here. So here's the thing. I don't know if a lot of people are listening to these kind of videos or not, but this is a very underrated comic, and I know a couple people have said, hey, I'm going to start checking this out. But I just want to keep talking about it because it's ever since they changed the last arc, this comic book has been consistently good every time. I mean, it's just a story. It's just an ongoing story, and there are stakes involved. There are people hurt. There's new turns, new enemies that pop up. And I think it's just because it's below the radar that people just, don't really pay attention to him because it's Aquaman. People read Batman, Superman, Action Comics, Detective Comics, Justice League, and then a couple of them will read Wonder Woman and Cyborg, and then sometimes you'll read Aquaman just because you don't really know what to do with him, and the New 52 did a very good job because then he was, more aggressive, more violent. But then you had this new series with this new arc, and the last probably 5 or 6 issues have been really, really good. And Stefan Sejic does the artwork for the cover on this, and he has done some of the inside issues, and he draws women perfectly. He does a great job on men, but he's able to draw a feminine woman perfectly. So let's look at the cover here. He did the cover. He's got Aquaman, he's got Mera, and he's got Dolphin in the background there. And I love Dolphin. She's this new character that he just introduced, and she's just fun. She's one of the people that's been mutated, of course, but she's still, got a personality. She's still nice. She has these nice little abilities where she can do these solar flares to help them, but she doesn't talk, so therefore she has to use her, facial expressions and things like that. And it's just fun. But it reminds me almost of The Little Mermaid. You know how The Little Mermaid couldn't talk? That's what she really reminds me of, that character. But then we get another cover here, which is, I think, the same guy that did the Flash cover or the Justice League cover that Diversity Comics had such a gripe over, that was like the bubbles. This looks like the same artist. But anyway, so we start out this story here, and they're recapping you. They're telling you basically what has happened. The evil King Wraith has taken over. He's encapsulated the city in a crown of thorns, they call it. Nobody's in or out. He supposedly killed Aquaman, and he's just usurped his kingdom and just took over. And now what he's doing is he's hunting down all the taint bloods. That would be considered Dolphin and the other people. Anybody that's in that group he's taking care of, he's doing away with them now. He's rounding them up. And so it's that classic story of you have the pure bloods trying to get rid of the taint bloods. It's that classic story. Some people could say it goes back to German Nazism, but this has been going on forever and ever and ever. You don't like somebody that's different, and you always try to get rid of the people that are different because you're afraid of them, and that's just the way it is. And a lot of people could say that's going on nowadays with the way that now we have this reverse racism where people are trying to get rid of white people. So you could kind of say that. But anyway, so we have the guards here rounding them all up, and then he says, we see them rounding everybody up. Then you see this awesome splash page here where Aquaman has now showed up. He's just epically standing there or floating there in the water. The fish are going off around him. And he says, let these people go. That's just a classic good way to open this. All the people that are trapped are pointing at him like, the Aquaman, it's him. I thought he was a myth. And they're saying, oh, that's no myth, as he's gouging people's eyes with the trident, taking people out. But the story is by Dan Abnett, and he's done a really good job so far. And we just have a new artist on this issue, and his name is Riccardo Federici, and Josh Middleton did the variant cover. I thought it might have been this Riccardo as well, but it's not. but it's Riccardo Federici, and he does a great job on this art. I mean, it looks sketch. Now, if they did a computerized version of this, they're doing a good job, but this looks hand sketch, and it's awesome. He is so good at drawing anatomy and muscles. I mean, it's really, really detailed. So then we get some more shots here where he's bashing these people's heads in. He's beating all the guards, and now he has saved the people. And if you didn't know this, he just got his trident. You know, you've always seen Aquaman with a trident, but he just got his trident now. They went and stole it from one of the ancient temples to give it to him, to give him an edge against these new bad guys. So as you can see, he has both of his hands, and he's just gotten his trident. He frees the people and tells them, "No time to talk, spread the word, justice is coming." I was like, that's sweet. He should have said, "Tell them the devil's coming to breakfast and hell's coming with me," or something like that from Pale Rider. But anyway, that still works. So then we're at the Undercurrent Stronghold. They are pretty much the resistance. He's heading back. You know, he just saved the people. And you've got this guy named Volko, and he's not to be trusted. Aquaman's already put him in jail once for trying to do dirty things politically, and he's kind of a silver tongue. He gets away with a lot of stuff. But the girl that's been helping them, it freed Volko to use him to help get the trident, and now, you know, he's still helping them. And to me, I think Volko is probably honestly trying to be a little bit different. He sees hope when he looks at Aquaman, but Aquaman doesn't want to be king. He just wants to save his people. And so they go back and forth about it, and he tells him basically that, hey, I want to get Mera. She's trapped on the outside, can't get in. She is my destiny, not this throne. And he's like, you know, you got to look over that. The people need a king. And basically he's like, you don't give me orders, Volko. You're a con man. You're sly. You're cunning. And you're almost doomed to Atlantis. And that's pretty much where the conversation ends. And then when they get back to the resistance, people are training. Things are going on. And then at that point we notice something. Ondine, the girl that saved Volko in order to get the trident, is talking to someone on a little handheld device. And then we find out that she's actually talking to Mother Satya, which is at the Tower of the Widowhood. And I can't really tell if these people are good or bad, because they did talk about helping Mera get in there, but I think honestly they've got their own plans. But they say that their role is to watch over the continued welfare of the nation. But I really think that they have got their own agenda going on. So then they're talking more about what Ondine, I guess you say her name's Ondine, has told him what's happening, and they told her to make a suggestion to the resistance. So she talks to them. They're all sitting around a table, and she says, "The gangs of the Ninth Triad underworld, they're powerful and lawless and have no love for wrath. They would stand with us." And then the group stand there kind of like, And then she said, Aquaman says, "Ondine, I'm still not quite sure who you are." And then she says, "I'm just a concerned citizen, come to pledge support for the rebellion." That right there would have been an instant red flag for me. I'd been like, please leave the room, we need to talk. But he says, Volko says, "Yeah, exactly, that's who she is." And he said, the Taint Bloods, you know, they're criminals in the gangs, and we don't really need them. And that's when Aquaman says, "Please don't use that term. We fight for all Atlanteans, including the Sea Changed." Because, I mean, Dolphin's sitting right there. She's one of the Taint Bloods. And he says, "My apologies, Lord, and to you, Dolphin. Old Jurek meant nothing by it. The gang Lord Crush has mysteriously vanished, sir." And Lord Crush was a leader of the gangs that Ranthus killed, and they still haven't found his body. But she says, "The other rival bosses fight to control the territory. Such anarchy makes it ideal time to, forge alliances." So he says, okay, whatever. So he says, "I want to have Dolphin go with me because she knows the way." And then we cut to another cool splash page. I really feel like they could have amped the color up just a little bit to kind of, have some of these people stand out. But it's really cool artwork. I love the way they draw these Taint Bloods. You have an eel guy, you have a coral guy, you have a couple other fish people. I mean, and then you have King Shark sitting there like a boss. And he says, Long Strabo, you son of a beach bug. Crush is gone. The ninth belongs to the king now, King Shark. So they're basically having a gang war. And he says, frenzy them boys. So they're attacking each other. And I'm like, man, this artwork is so sweet. And so then that's right when Orin or Aquaman has showed up with Dolphin. He tells Dolphin to scout around and get any civilians you can find out of the area, and he's going to stop this fight. So when he shows up, he lands very epically on I mean, this is so cool. He lands very epically on this column here, and he says, you're going to drown the ninth in blood, King Shark, gang versus gang in a street war, because they're street sharks. And he says, you're pretty much doing Wraith's dirty work for him. And then that's when they, of course, decide to attack him because, you know, he's a upper tide person. They don't really like those people. So they're going back and forth and basically having it out man to man. And at that point, they're pretty much equal strength. They've come to realize. And he says, Wraith is coming, and he's gathering up all the taint bloods, and he's basically rounding them all up to kill them. And he says, but Wraith is one of us. He's from the ninth. And he says, not anymore. He's trying to erase that history. And it's only a matter of time before he comes here too. And that's when King Shark says, well, let's say for a moment you're right. What do you want from me? And that's when Aquaman says, a close friend taught me that the best thing a man can do is listen. Which is curious because she never speaks. And of course that's Dolphin, and Dolphin is listening. And Dolphin's probably one of my favorite characters at this point. But she swims off because everything's going well, and then she hears someone screaming, help, help. So of course she goes to him. And it's a guy sitting there with an orb, and he says, help me, help her, someone. She can't breathe underwater no more, and I can't do nothing. And then that's when she notices that it's Mera, because Mera had found her way into Atlantis, but the curse from the Crown of Thorns had hurt her. So now she's sitting there and he says, you see, it's Mera, Lady Mera. Her tank's almost out of air. She's going to die. And that's where it ends on the cliffhanger. And it says, next issue is called Out of Breath. And, you know, this is not anything crazy. It's not, you know, epic battles. I love epic battles, but this is good storytelling right here. This is good, solid storytelling. And in a way that lets Aquaman do his own thing in his own land without being joined to anybody else. You know what I mean? He's able to be awesome all on his own with his adventures, becoming a king again in this Atlantis kingdom, even though he doesn't want to be. And it's that classic story of a king that is more than worthy to be a king now, but understands that he doesn't really want that anymore, but he has no choice. Ultimately, he's going to have to give in. But I really give it to Abnett for this writing. Stefan Sejic does a great job on the covers. And now we've got this new artist here, Riccardo Federici. And, I mean, this is classic, just great art. You could take any of these pages and take the words off of them and put them on a wall somewhere, and everybody would be like, what the heck is that? That is sweet. But definitely check this comic book out, guys. It's a definite recommendation. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Also, please support me on my Maker support. It's an alternative to Patreon. It's not quite so rude to the investors. And also, I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time. So tune in to this channel for that. And I think you're going to like it. We're going to have a lot of fun. But I'll talk to you guys later. Underground Geek out.